Now you can go to the gym and you can get all big and bulky and do that route, right? Or you can go and take some yoga classes and get more flexible. Those things help. Trust me, those things help. But the biggest way that we can get more distance, the super cheat code, is using our wrists, okay? So our wrists are like a lever. They're like a hinge in our swing, okay? And they allow us to, especially when we come down here and we get into impact position, they allow us to really turn and release this club over. So this lesson is all about the release. Before we get into this, make sure you guys are subscribing to the channel. Let's grow. When we're coming down into impact, always, guys, I want you thinking always of releasing the club and turning these hands over. When you are at home and you're just chilling, watching TV, I want you doing this constantly. I want you stepping, getting to your front side, keeping the club back here, and then releasing this club just like that all day long, every day. Now, some people will say, well, Chris, if I'm constantly turning the club over like this, I'm gonna start hitting all my balls out to the left. Yes, you will start hitting your balls out to the left. But guess what? Left balls aren't right balls, okay? When you hit your balls out to the right, it's usually a weak, soft, super high shot. You've actually added loft to the club. And what I mean by that is, so this would be the natural loft of the club, right? What you're doing is you're hitting the ball like this. Not that's an exaggeration, but you're hitting the ball a little bit like this. What I want you to do is more of de-lofting the club. That's why you want to have your hands ahead of the club head at impact, okay? Because you're de-lofting the club. So now, what do I have here? This is a 9-iron. So now this 9-iron basically becomes an 8-iron or maybe a soft 7-iron, okay? So people always ask, how can these pros hit a 7-iron 190 yards, 200 yards, whatever, right? Because a lot of times they're de-lofting the club big time, and now a 7-iron becomes a 5-iron, okay? So what I want you guys to think about is constantly turning your hands over at impact and sending it left, okay? Now, if you start sending your ball left, that's fine. And typically though, the ball is going to have a little bit lower flight and you're going to be pushing it out to the left and or maybe even hooking it. That's okay, because eventually what's going to happen is that ball, you'll start figuring out, okay, maybe I should turn it over a little bit less, a little bit less, a little bit less. And the next thing you know, you're hitting these beautiful, nice, crispy draws, okay? That's the key, hitting the crispy draws, all right? So what I want you guys to do just all the time, whenever you get an opportunity, step, leave the hands back, and then turn it over as fast as you can, okay? So you're here and you're turning it over, here and you're turning it over, okay? All the time, okay? So I want you guys to look at it from the sideways angle here, turning it over. Both of your arms are out like this. Your right hand should be almost about to turn everything over. Your right hand is kind of almost taking over to a certain degree, right? At here. So when we are about 2 feet past the ball, past impact, you should start seeing that club head turning it over, okay? And I'm gonna tell you what happens. So you have a ball, right? The ball is getting compressed against this club head. And it rides against this club head probably for, I don't know, half a second or something like that, right? You can barely see it, but it'll ride against this club head for just a second. So if you don't release, if you don't turn this over and release, that club head will typically push that ball straight out, okay? You want to impart, if you're trying to hit a draw, you want to impart right to left spin on the ball. One of the best ways to do that is you're going to capture the ball, okay? Then you're going to send it out to your target, okay? And by sending it out to the target, that's the release, okay? So you have to release that ball out there. So you capture the ball, release the club, and let the ball do its thing, okay? So I'm gonna say that one more time. When you are coming into impact, you're basically capturing the ball, okay? Think of the club head as like a little bucket, right? And you're capturing the ball in that little bucket, then you're releasing that. Now think about this. If you're a basketball player, right, and you're shooting free throws, you're shooting threes, you're Steph Curry, LeBron James, right? When they get up to shoot their free throw, they always release, okay? They always have this release. You don't shoot them shooting free throws like this. No one shoots free throws like that. Well, you might. You're just a bad free throw shooter, right? But if you're shooting jump shots, shooting free throws, you release that, okay? There's that wrist hinge, okay? A quarterback's throwing the ball, they come in, they release, okay? You don't see a quarterback throwing the ball like this and just stop right here and there's no release here, right? So it's the same thing. Even with tennis, you come into it and a lot of times you'll see the forehand or even the backhand, you'll see this wrist action here, right? So it's the same way with golf, all right? So we have to be able to release the club. By releasing the club, we are generating way more speed and more power. Now we're hitting that 8-iron 160 yards, okay? And I think you can control it a little bit better, okay? With the weak shots out to the right, we don't want that. So what I want you guys to do is always focus here. Always focus on getting to your front side, getting those hips around, getting that right elbow in, okay? No chicken winging, getting that right elbow in, capturing the ball, releasing it out into the target, okay? Capture the ball, release out into the target.